watch a movie about a cult and think, how could anyone fall for that?
It's like watching a train wreck, right?
You know it's bad, but you can't look away.
That's what we're diving into today, the psychology behind cult recruitment.
And we're using the fictional film Melting Pot as our guide.
It's a wild ride, but it's going to help us understand the real-world dangers of manipulation.
It's a dark topic, but it's important to shine a light on it.
Melting Pot takes us inside the mind of a cult leader, showing how they use charisma and false promises to prey on people's vulnerabilities.
It's almost like a masterclass in manipulation, but thankfully it's just a movie.
Okay, let's unpack this.
In Melting Pot, the cult leader targets a diverse group, a male and female of every race in the world.
Like a modern-day Noah's Ark, except, well, way less peaceful.
He promises them a life of luxury, freedom, and belonging.
It's the classic cult recruitment playbook. Offer a paradise that's too good to be true.
You're hitting on something really important.
Cult leaders understand our basic human needs, the need for connection, purpose, and a sense of belonging.
They offer an escape, a community, a way to feel like you're part of something bigger.
For someone who's feeling lost or lonely, those promises can be incredibly powerful.
And Melting Pot doesn't shy away from the dark side of that power.
They take these people to a remote island, completely isolating them from the outside world.
They cut them off from their friends, families, their old lives.
It's like they're being erased, replaced with the cult's version of reality.
Isolation is a key tactic for cults.
It's like a psychological prison.
When you're cut off from your support network, from anyone who might challenge the cult's ideology, you're more likely to accept what the leader says is truth.
It's like they're rewiring your brain.
And that's when the real manipulation starts.
The cult leader in Melting Pot begins to establish a new set of beliefs.
Questioning him or his teachings has severe consequences, making anyone hesitant to even whisper a doubt.
It's chilling how easily people conform under this kind of pressure.
It's like they're losing their individuality, becoming just another face in the crowd.
It's a classic example of how cults use fear and manipulation to control their members.
They create a system where the leader's word is law, and anyone who disagrees is ostracized or even punished.
It's a twisted kind of loyalty, a twisted version of reality.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
Melting Pot doesn't just focus on the seduction and isolation of the cult. It also explores the long-term consequences of this kind of abuse.
We see the survivors struggling with trauma, grappling with a shattered sense of identity, and feeling betrayed by something they once believed in.
It's not just a fictional story.
Real-life cult survivors face similar struggles.
Imagine having your entire worldview turned upside down, your trust violated, your sense of self manipulated.
It's a profound and long-lasting kind of psychological damage that can take years to heal. And, it's heartbreaking to watch.
It really is.
They escape the island, but,
They can't escape the scars.
Right. It's like they're free, but not really.
Except,
Because the trauma, it's still there, under the surface.
and that's a crucial point that Melting Pot drives home. Escaping the physical clutches of a cult. That's just the first step.
Right.
The real challenge is, it's healing.
Healing the invisible wounds.
Yes. Rebuilding trust in yourself, in others. Reclaiming your sense of self.
Which is so much easier said than done, I'd imagine.
Oh, absolutely. It's a process. Often requires therapy, support groups,
Yeah.
and a whole lot of courage.
Makes you wonder about the idea of justice, right? I mean, in the film, the leader and his, what do they call it, inner circle?
Yeah, it's inner circle.
They get caught, brought to trial.
Right.
But it just doesn't feel like enough.
You've hit on a really complex issue. Legal accountability is important, of course. Sends a message.
That these actions have consequences.
Yes. But you're right, it can't undo the past. And for survivors, the legal system, it can sometimes feel like just another hurdle.
Another thing to overcome.
Exactly. They might have to relive their trauma, on the stand.
Oh gosh. Yeah, having to face their abusers.
And even then, there's no guarantee of a satisfying outcome.
Yeah.
Justice in these cases, it's about more than just punishment. It's about acknowledging the harm, supporting the survivors.
Working to prevent these tragedies from happening again?
Yes.
Which kind of feels like, how do you even begin to repair that kind of damage?
It's tough.
I mean, prevention is key here, right?
Absolutely.
Like, how do we equip people to spot these red flags,
Yes.
early on so they don't fall prey to this kind of manipulation?
Education. Education is our most powerful weapon. The more people understand about these tactics, the psychological manipulation, the better equipped they'll be to protect themselves and others.
So I guess for our listeners, what are some of the biggest red flags? Like, what should people be looking out for in a group or even just, in their personal relationships?
Okay, so one of the first things to be wary of is love bombing.
Love bombing. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where a group, or even just an individual, they just shower you with praise and attention, especially early on. Make you feel like you're special.
Like you've found your people.
Exactly. Like you found your tribe.
Mm-hmm.
It's intoxicating, but it can also be a way to,
Reel you in.
yeah, quickly gain your trust. And when you trust someone, well, you're more receptive to their message, whatever that may be.
It's like they're lowering your defenses with kindness, making you feel indebted to them, almost like you owe them something.
Exactly. And as that trust builds, you might start to notice other, red flags. Like they might start to discourage critical thinking.
Questioning.
Yes. Questioning, doubts, branding anyone who disagrees as like an enemy or a threat.
Yeah.
They might try to isolate you from your existing support network.
Your friends, family, everyone you know.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's the whole, demanding absolute obedience to the leader.
Right, like their word is law.
Exactly.
And anyone who steps out of line will
faces consequences.
Yeah. And it's scary to think about melting pot in this context,
Yeah.
because it shows just how quickly that line between devotion and blind obedience can blur.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so important to,
To be aware.
to be aware. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about cults, is it?
Right.
These tactics
They're everywhere.
everywhere.
It was like melting pot is a cautionary tale, but not just about cults.
Right.
Just like a reminder to just,
Be vigilant.
be vigilant. Yeah, in all areas of our lives, to trust our gut
100%.
when something feels off.
Yes. And that's where,
Critical thinking.
critical thinking comes in.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask questions, to challenge, to seek out different perspectives.
If someone's discouraging that.
Huge red flag.
Red flag, yeah, okay.
Massive.
It's like that saying, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Yes.
That's like so relevant here.
Absolutely. Melting pot really drives that point home.
Yeah.
Those promises of paradise, of
Yeah.
escape,
Yeah.
they often come at a price.
They do.
They do.
So for our listeners, who are watching Melting Pot or maybe just reflecting on this conversation,
yeah.
what's like the key takeaway? What do we want them to remember?
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
By understanding how manipulation works.
Yeah.
By being aware of the red flags, we empower ourselves to resist and
Mhm.
protect ourselves and those around us.
Love that. And it's not just about, recognizing it in others.
Yes.
It's about examining ourselves too.
100%.
Right. Understanding what might make us susceptible.
Yes. What are our needs? What are our desires?
Yeah.
Our fears?
Yeah.
What might make us vulnerable to someone offering easy answers or a sense of belonging?
It's about knowing yourself.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
It is. It's a lifelong journey.
Well, this has been eye-opening, to say the least.
It's been a pleasure.
It's a fictional story, but it's given us so much to think about in terms of, real-world dangers and how to protect ourselves.
Absolutely. And remember,
Yeah.
if you or someone you know needs help,
Yes.
there are resources available.
There are.
Don't hesitate to reach out to a mental health professional or a trusted organization that specializes in this.
Absolutely.
There is hope for healing.
100%. And there are people who understand.
Yes.
And can help
they can.
on that note.
Yes.
Leave you to ponder that. Remember,
Yes.
knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Questioning.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Until